How do you find true love, and what are some tips to know if you've actually found it? What are you actually looking for when it comes to true love? That's our topic for today's video. If you're having difficulty in your marriage, download our free resource guide, hopeformymarriage.com. So let's talk about this topic today. What are the signs of true love? How do you know if you found it? How do you know if you're going to find it? And that's what we're going to get into today. And this is kind of interesting for us. We have a daughter that is probably going to be engaged here in the next week or so. And so a lot of our conversation with her has been, is this true love? Is he the right one? How do you know? And so that's what we'll get into. So Carol, would you like to lead off?
Sure. I was thinking back to when I knew he was the one. It didn't take long. It took me about 2 months, and I knew Carl was the one for me. I was only 17, but I'm very thankful that we found each other when we were young. But I just honestly could not imagine the rest of my life without him. We are two very different people, and I had always thought I would fall in love with someone who was just like me, but I loved the differences. I loved the different things about him. He's funny, he's creative. Back then, he was an extrovert. I was very much an extrovert. We kind of have mellowed out in those roles a little bit, but I loved that he was an extrovert. I saw things in him that weren't in me, and it's not a bad thing. These are good. And I loved those things, and I felt like we fit. We just came together as a couple and fit. And for me, seeing those things, for me, was a sign of true love. And just the fact that I literally could not imagine the rest of my life without him, even at 17. I didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't know, at that point I didn't know anything, but I knew within about a couple of months that we were meant to be. And the biggest sign was, there were the two signs that I've talked about here. I could not picture my life without him, and he fit. I saw the things in him that were different from me, and I liked them. And he really did complete me.
Yeah, I think it's important, when you're talking about is this true love, there's a couple things that I think you have to, first of all, pay attention to. What is it you've been looking for in that person? Obviously, as Christians, part of what has been important to us is praying about who we were going to marry. That was something I had prayed about. I know that's something Carol had prayed about. Now dealing with our children, there are some specific things as a father that I've prayed over my sons, over my daughter, about the kind of individual who they would marry. And so there's some criteria that has been prayed over extensively. And so when you see it, you recognize it. And the key really is this. True love has to be lasting. And what you find in Scripture, 1 Corinthians has a full chapter on love. It's called the love chapter. Love is patient. Love is kind. There's a whole list of things that you find in love. But when it comes to that interpersonal love, what we want to look for, what we're really looking for is, does that person bring out the best in me? And do I bring out the best in that person? Are we better together than we are apart? Obviously, we've got to get past the temporal, what I call selfish side of things. So, no lie, first time I saw her, I was 17 years old. She was sitting there by herself, and I went, ooh, who's that? Had to move beyond that.
Yeah.
And the truth is, she is my best friend. There is no one else I want to spend time with. There is no one else I want to grow old with. But one of the litmus tests for true love is, will I still love you 60 years from now? Will I still love you when we're having to clean up each other's messes, if you know what I'm saying? The issue, even when I'm premarital counseling a couple, I will ask them, are you willing to be there when it's time to change each other's diapers? That's what true love looks like. True love has to carry you through things like surgeries and changes of life and death and loss and financial challenge. And so if it's all based on sex, if it's all based on just, we like spending time together, it's not going to last. It's got to go deeper than that. Do I love you enough that I would lay down my life for you day by day, that there's no one else I'd rather be with? Those are the things that you really have to evaluate. And the truth is, if you can be apart for a while and it doesn't bother you, not the right person. The truth is, if you can not be sensitive to their needs, even if there's nothing in it for you, not the right person. What you're really looking for is do you complete each other? Even with our daughter, as I was talking to her boyfriend the first time I met him, I said, what is it about her that is bringing you to this place of asking me if you can date her? And he said, every time she's around, she's just always helping me with the things that I do. And essentially what he was saying is she really completes me. I don't feel complete without her being there, being a part of the things that I do. We're the same way. We're kind of an interesting couple. We work together. We both have our own businesses. So my desk sits in one corner and hers sits in the other. So we're together all the time. And so, not every couple can do that. For us, it's been a joy. We found great joy in that, but that's part of how we know there's true love. There's not an annoyance. Now, admittedly, there are going to be times where you just need your personal time. That's just part of marriage. But we're always ready to reconnect quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If there was ever a time where, we didn't want to reconnect, that's problematic. So anyway, a few thoughts for you. Hope you find those helpful. Carol, anything you want to
add? True love, and just as Carl referenced the scriptures in Corinthians, love is an action. It's a verb. It's not a feeling. And so I just echo everything that he said, because what it comes down to is the actions. Love is the action, and what actions do you see that, like he said, complete you?
Excellent. Hope you found this video helpful. We'll talk to you again soon.